So now that we've taken care of the rust in the floors on the 1975 Lincoln Continental, and we've gotten the insulation and all that stuff added in, we can now put the carpet in. So let's get the carpet unboxed, and I'll bring y'all back, show y'all what we've got, and we'll get it installed. So here's our carpet, and we got this carpet because it's the cheapest that we could find, and you know, it looks good. It doesn't exactly match the factory. I think the color is pretty spot on. Here's a piece of our original carpet that's really dirty, and I'd say the original carpet is probably about this color before it got dirty and aged. As you can see, you know, big difference. But I think they had this, and then they had like a premium, I think, which was a higher pile or whatever. Sorry, I've got bronchitis. I can barely talk without coughing, so bear with me here. Yeah, I think even if we got the premium carpet, I don't think it's going to be this plush. So I don't think it would have matched anyway, you know, to the original. Probably been closer, but it was more. And this does have backing on it. I think you could buy it with a premium backing as well. This is just the standard because I knew I was going to do lots of work in here. I think this matches about what was on the factory carpet. So it looks good. We're gonna slide this in. We're gonna have to do a lot of trimming, you know, for seat holes. Oh, I need to cut out my seat belt hole. I forgot about that. So I got more insulation to cut through than when I initially remembered it. But I gotta go find those holes with the knife and cut those out. I'll take a little pick and just prod around. I know the general area, and once I find it, I'll just take a knife and cut out a circular hole for the seat belts. We got one on each side. Seat mounts, good. We're just gonna have to cut some holes in the carpet for it. Once we get it all fitted, we're gonna have to cut a slit for this vent and cut a hole for the seat belt things, and probably trim edges and stuff like that. But and then we've got the dimmer switch over in that corner, and it came with a little grommet for that. I got to make sure that grommet fits over, and then we'll cut a hole and put that grommet in. All right, there's our seatbelt hole. Trimmed it out big enough to where the seatbelt itself will mount straight to the metal and not be pinched in between the insulation. Goodness, I zoomed in too far. Same thing on the other side, so that should be good. I don't think we need any other holes. I think that should be everything. Okay, this will go much easier if you've got some help. One person on each side, but it's doable if you keep going back and forth. We've got some creases and stuff. I'm not too worried about that right now. We're gonna have to do a little trimming and stuff to get it where it'll lay better. Just because there's excess, you know. Got a lot of excess. There's excess up there. I had to fold it right there to get away from that vent. And I think that's kind of keeping us right here. I need to trim that a little bit and kind of pull up on the center, and I think it'll pull some of this out. You know, it's just, I don't know. It just needs just a little bit of massaging. So we're gonna do all that before we do any holes, I guess. Because I know where, you know, at least like right there, I know that that's gonna have to get trimmed, and we're not gonna do any of these sides yet. We'll do that later. But, you know, that's gonna have to get trimmed. But I like the look of it. I think it looks really good. And I think the fit will be good once we kind of get it, you know, we've got like seat bolts. Some of this will come out, you know, when we get it where we can go down further. Like we've got the seat bolts and the vent here, and, you know, it's gonna get tucked under the vent. Stuff like that, you know, will help this area right here. It's just kind of, we got some excess material in here. Yeah, to be honest, we probably could have built up the transmission tunnel a little more, because you know, it's got some excess, but whatever. Yeah, I think it might settle down once we trim that. I think that's our main thing right there, is because that folded over is kind of making that like a stiff spot that's not wanting to settle down. So I think I'm just going to put a little slit in it, kind of right in here. Actually, I'm going to come over here and put a slit right there, and maybe a slit right here to let it, we're going to have to trim some of this off, but that'll at least let it, this parts of it go in, and then we'll trim some off here that'll kind of stop right at that, if that makes sense. So let me go put a new blade in my knife, and we'll do that. I might see if I've got a good pair of scissors. Might see about that first, and if that's not gonna work, we'll use my knife. Well, I am not an upholstery guy, but I've done carpet in a few vehicles, and I mean, I definitely don't do this perfect, but I think I do it good enough. So we've got our holes for our seat studs right in there, and this carpet just doesn't, I think I'm gonna have to get the seats in it, and it's gonna pull that center down. We're pretty good on this side, you know, it's gonna have to pull it down a little bit, but it's definitely where it needs to be. You know, we've got this line where it needs to be. And so I went ahead, cut this for the vent, and tucked the carpet under and screwed it in, because, you know, we've got the carpet where it wants to go, or where it needs to go, and this over here that's needs to go down will get pulled down from the middle where it needs to come down. And got our back seat bolts, got a slit for our wire, same thing on the other side. A little less of the vent showing there, but you know, it's under the seat, so you don't really see it, so it doesn't really matter. Our back, you know, we've got some wrinkles and stuff, but I think, you know, once that relaxes, some of that's going to come out, and I can probably get some of it out just by massaging it a little bit. We could even throw a little bit of heat at it just to kind of get it, get those wrinkles out. But I think we've pretty much got it where it needs to go. You know, I feel good about it. It looks good. So I think I'm gonna start doing some of the trimming that's gonna have to be done. Actually, I'm not. I'm gonna do some trimming up in there if it needs to be done. I'm not gonna do any of this on the sides yet. I'm gonna get the seats in it first. That way, you know, once it pulls down, we know where it needs to be. They're not gonna be in the way of any of that, but they might be in the way. It'd be easier to get up in there and work that stuff. I don't know if you can see, but you know, man, I can see better on the camera than I can with my eyes. You know, we've kind of relaxed it, or cut a relief right there. We might could trim that up a little bit if we wanted to, but I think it's okay like that. And then kind of the same thing over here. You know, it looks, oh, we need to cut that hole for the dimmer switch. But I think up here, it looks good. The only place we're gonna have to trim it is kind of right in here. So I'll probably I don't know. I may leave that as well. I think I can get in here and work on it, especially once we get the power seats hooked up. You know, I can run them back. I think I'd feel better just leaving it, letting this settle a little more. And then we can get this kick panel and kind of see how, you know, it wants to go in and kind of tuck it, I don't know, in behind that kick panel. I think that's going to be our best bet. Well, I think I'm going to quit for today. And this bronchitis is just, it's got me down. And I get worn out and out of breath. Little task. Feel like I'm out of shape, but I just can't breathe well. Anyway, yeah, we got the driver's side seat in. I decided to go ahead and I figured I needed to get the seat belts and that B-pillar trim in there before I put the seats in. I already had the driver's seat sitting in there, so I just kind of moved it back into the back. Did that, did the passenger side. I'm missing one of these little covers. I bought a set of belts and it only had one of them and I was missing both of them. So the seat belts I got are actually just a hair darker, like a dark blue, or we have a light blue, and the guy had already tossed this is a car that was getting parted out. The guy had already tossed these belts, so you know, the female end and the passenger belt. So all I got was the B-pillar part, and so it's going to be a little mismatched, but it's the best I could do. I'll keep an eye out, you know, maybe for another set. I gotta get all this carpet out of here. This was our original, and you can see, you know, I don't know what happened there, but I didn't like that. So we're going with safety over color, I guess. This piece is a little bit darker on those as well. I'll show you the driver's side seat belt. Yeah, I just can't talk without coughing. And this was our driver's side one. I mean, that doesn't look good. It looks like a fuzzy caterpillar. So I'm not sure. I guess the sun and the wind just beating down on it with that driver's side window being down maybe all those years. No idea, but it's toast. So I'm gonna be on the lookout, you know, maybe for a set this color, but for now, you know, we've got functional belts. Here you can see the contrast. I don't think you're really gonna notice it because, you know, there's not much of these that sticks out. You know, they are blue, they're not black. They're just a darker blue. And you can see this is a darker blue, and I can't change these out, so that doesn't really bug me at all. But, you know, these, I need to clean them, but, you know, we got a little bit of wear right there, but they're good. And as you can see, we're missing the thing over here. We've got one over there. So we'll keep an eye out for one of those. And at some point, I want to find a car to try to get a door panel off of and a seat back for the rear seat. So, you know, we'll keep our eyes open. This will be long-term looking, and I think we'll run across all those things. But for now, we got those in. Looks good. I had to trim around for the little bracket that comes up out of the floor for the seat belt. So I did that. I had to cut a little relief in there and get that kind of folding down. The excess carpet, I didn't even have to trim it. It's just tucked into this B-pillar. It worked just fine like that. And we're gonna have to trim some of that off, I'm sure, but for now, we're gonna leave it until we go to put the sill plate, whatever you call it, in. Same thing over here, a little relief cut, just to kind of get it where this will fold. It was just a little long, so I trimmed off just a little piece there. We've got to cut a little hole for the rear seat bracket on both sides. I still got to put the seat belt part in the middle. I need to find, I'm missing one of my seat things. I need to look, see if that one goes here or if there's one stuck on the, it looks like the passenger side one is stuck to the seat. I've got a mess of stuff from cleaning. Try to make a habit of, at the end of the day, pick up all the crap, because there's just so much stuff that I've worked all over on this thing. And yeah, so normally when I quit for the day, I go and clean up, and to be honest, I'm really not feeling like it today. We'll see. I need to at least clean up some of this mess. It's getting a little out of hand. So I was inside editing this video and I realized I did not ever finish this video. And so here we are, several months later, and I'm wrapping this video up. Got a backlog of videos on this car because I was trying to wait until I finished it to start getting these videos together. So, because I didn't want there to be a gap in the videos, you know, if it ended up taking me longer to finish. So I'm a little behind on getting these out because of that. So this thing, I was rushing through to get it done for a road trip, and I'm back from the road trip and I have not had a chance to clean it up yet. So ignore, you know, the dirt. You know, we're in this car for a week and dirt roads and all that kind of stuff. So carpet's dirty, but I just wanted to show you all the fitment. I didn't want to leave that off. Gotta tuck some wires in, but turned out good. What I ended up doing on the center hump here is it still was very tall, and so I added some more insulation to the top here, to the tunnel, just to make the carpet fit tighter. There was just a gap, you know, the carpet was up and you'd push on it and it would pop down to the pad. You know, it was sitting higher, and that was after I got the seats in. So pulled the seats back out, put that in there just to fill that void. And this is pushing in on padding, maybe not on the side, but you know, anyway, it's about as good as we can get. You know, we've added padding. We've changed the shape of this floor a little bit. As far as, you know, the door sills and everything, it looks great. Again, ignore the dirtiness of it. You know, I've got to vacuum this thing out. But, you know, if you didn't tell me that it was not the original carpet, I probably wouldn't notice. You know, color-wise, it looks good. And I don't know, it looks much better than the shredded carpet that was in it. And then, let's see. And then back here, I had these towels to protect the seats because we had like luggage and stuff, and the front seats are splitting. I've put coats and coats and coats and coats of leather rejuvenator. So, you know, we drove sitting on towels just to help preserve the seats. And I put towels across the back seats, you know, in case we laid something on the seats. I just want to preserve the seats as much as I can, so it looks tacky, but whatever. And the back carpet and fitment of the back carpet, you know, it's got a couple like little creases and stuff, and it to be honest, it's probably just me. It's probably not necessarily the carpet, but really this thing probably needs to sit outside a few days. I keep it inside, but maybe if it sat in the sun, it would relax some of the creases and stuff. But I like it. I think it fits really nice. You know, it tucks in where it's supposed to. It curves where it's supposed to. Not too bad. Pretty happy with it, you know, for the price of it. I think it was maybe $260 or something. Don't quote me on that. I'm probably way off on the price. But it was the cheapest. I put the cheapest carpet in that I could get because, you know, that It's just what fit the budget. Unfortunately, you know, I would have liked to have had, you know, the premium carpet with the premium backing, and it just wasn't in the budget. You know, the paint for the roof unfortunately took our budget. So this was kind of an additional expense I decided to add. I think it's good. I like it. You can see all the sand we tracked in. I think it worked out really good. Really happy with it. So, thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below. Hit the like button and subscribe for more. Let me know if y'all have installed carpet in these things before, what you did to help it relax. I let this thing sit out for days to kind of unfold, let it sit in the sun. It seems to be the best trick, and it kind of takes some of the creases out. I don't know if I mentioned that before. And then once I laid it in the car, I did let it sit overnight before I started trying to do any kind of cutting and trimming. So just to kind of let it relax in the car. Again, thanks for watching.